Here's the story that changed my life. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This shit made me go through a whole ass awakening. Let me take you back to my school days when I was just a wee little boy. It was on a particularly rainy day that I had transferred into my then new school. And, as you do, I quickly became aware of the social hierarchy of the class, and it was then that I learned about the cool boy of my new class. At first, I thought there was nothing special about him. You know, he was just a dude trying to be the classic thug. He was good looking and fashionable and all. Plus the surprising thing was that he had gotten a step further and had even gotten tattoos. Now depending where you were raised, that may or may not be a big deal to you. But let me tell you, from where I grew up there were only two reasons why somebody could have some tattoos. It was either that he was doing child labor for some drug mafia, or his father was dead. I never particularly grew close to that guy, so I don't know which of the two categories he fell in. But anyways, here was this guy, that I gradually got to know more about from my newly made friends, about how he was the cool boy of the school who had dated so-and-so from so-and-so class. But I didn't pay much attention cause I thought it was the same shit like back in my old school's cool boy. But that false perception only lasted for a week. About a week after I had the magical opportunity to work with the cool kid in some laboratory work, and it was there that I made my mind-boggling discovery. That motherfucker was short as fuck. That's right, people. See, the thing was I always saw him sitting at the very back, and for various reasons I always arrived late to class, so I never saw him before he was seated. Nor was I seated anywhere close to him to able judge how tall he was before that moment. It was simply unbelievable. I stood next to him and I couldn't just comprehend how this dude was much shorter than me. And I wouldn't even call myself tall. Like literally, I looked down at his shoes and I could swear I saw them on Amazon's kidwear sale. It was a life-changing experience. It was that day that I realized that the true essence of being a cool boy must be something other than just inborn cool boy meter just being high for some kids. Maybe cool boys weren't just produced, they were made. You know, it was then that I felt, appearance doesn't really matter. Like it doesn't matter if you want to be the yellow fever cool boy, the Chad cool boy, the bully cool boy, or even the introverted kinda emo anime-like cool boy. It doesn't matter what kind of cool boy you want to be, the essence of being one lies deep within. Oh, and by the way, if you are girl, then it's a shame, but the game is the game. Click of this video if you don't want to get your ideals shamed. But, unfortunately, I must admit, I haven't achieved the sagedom to be able to guide you clueless weebs to the path of becoming a cool boy. After all, this is not a tutorial video. Or maybe it is, I don't know, I have just started with script. Anyways, let's talk about the first very most important thing. Posture. Yeah, you heard me right, people. I am serious, posture is very important. You need to be looking like you have the property of both rubber and gum at all times. And it's not only because of how people perceive you based on your posture. I believe that a good posture helps you in doing things that would normally be impossible. Like with a good ass posture, you can do stuff you would have never before. Believe me, you can be like water and stuff. To give an example, let me just talk about the incident that happened with me this week. A few days ago, I was just doing the usual. Listening to some classic Tyler song while reading some Chinese Zhan Xian novel when I felt that my bladder had filled its fill. So I went to the bathroom, and I start doing the works. You know, peeing. And then as I do so every often, I thought about what would happen if I ever accidentally dropped my phone on the toilet. Like I have heard things about such stuff from the internet, and some people talk about it like it's an everyday occasion. Like, it's gotta have to happen with you once. But the thing is, it never happened with me. And the thought of making such mistake just fills me with dread and disgust. See, until then I had never really thought too much about what I would do if my phone ever fell into the toilet, but I had vaguely arrived to the conclusion that it would too disgusting to just retrieve it. Like what procedure am I going to follow at that point? Every suggestion I had just feels too disgusting. So as I was thinking this, the earphone that I am wearing suddenly starts slipping. Now my hands are all occupied. And in the split second where I hesitated, it was just became too late. My right earphone went boop into the sea of commode. And then, the answer to one of my everyday absent-mindedly thought-dreaded question was partially answered. I moved without hesitation. I thought I would cringe or something, but nah man, I am such a schoolboy I surprised myself too. Although I do have to admit a not cool part about it. The thing, it wasn't my earphone. I had borrowed it from my witch of a sister. Who would have seriously blown my head off if she found out about it. So of course, she doesn't know about that. Plus, since I didn't want to get found out by not having one earphone stop working so suddenly. I am going to be honest. I didn't know if the earphone were really waterproof or if it was just a one-time thing where they just happened to be functional after a great dip at the Sea of Commode. I didn't want to risk the earphone malfunctioning by tossing it to water once again, so I didn't really bother. Anyways, let's move on to the next factor needed to become a cool boy. And that is, well, I don't know what the word for it might be. But basically what I want to say is that be someone that takes revenge then and there. Don't bottle it up. If you feel like you got slighted, slight him back bro, you should definitely not bottle it up. Or else you will turn up like the guy, who everyone thinks is insane for randomly snapping at people not realizing that the guy is taking revenge for the thing that happened the month before. I speak about this with great familiarity cause it is one of the things you see a lot in Asian families. Like if you ever grow a bit close to your aunt and you hear her story about her childhood and her time with her friends and siblings and cousin. You will realize why she doesn't get along with your other aunt as well. You know, sometimes it's like, goddamn Aunt Jolin, I can't believe you always called Aunt Kata a sleazy bitch behind her back cause she used to slap you to sleep the night before your school exam. Like come on, it's been 33 years, give it a rest. You know, if you ever go down that road, it's gonna be a lonely and pathetic one, and you will never again be the cool boy you want to be in the eyes of the people who have seen you act like that. The next big thing you should do to be a cool boy is to go against your morals for the sake of your friend. That's right, people, sometimes that's something you just gotta do. You may not be a creep normally, but for the sake of your friend, you gotta keep your eyes on all the girls around your all. You know, so you can accurately tell with whom you friends chances are good with. And with whom the chances are the absolute worst. And then you throw your friends at the girl, who you know, is gonna leave a deep mark of rejection on him. And then introduce him to the one he can actually get with, so that he starts appreciating life a bit more. Of course, if you are in a group of virgins, just start loudly making inappropriate jokes about your friend whenever his crush passes by you. That would leave him embarrassed, the girl confused, and you absolutely enthralled and brimming with achievements. I am serious, just sabotage the guy at every stage so you can be the cool guy in the group of virgins who is closest to getting laid but never does. Don't hesitate to be the asshole for the right reasons. Plus a bit tangent here, it might be cause English is my second language, but from all the Wattpad books and teen movies that I have seen, calling a guy an asshole almost feels like a compliment. Like the girl in the movies would always go, "Oh, I can't believe how rude you were, and that makes me more intrigued by you and also a bit wet." Asshole. Like if you get called an asshole when you don't look like an asshole, that might as well be a compliment. So anyways, people, all I want to say is make the ends meet, do what you gotta do to keep your homies in check. Mostly by using the gals. Lastly, here's the point that you should keep in mind. Even if you become a cool boy, you will never be the cool boy in everyone's eyes. That won't ever be the case. So don't cling on to others' approval of you being a cool boy. Because being a cool boy is not a statement for the world to see. It's a mindset that you want to live with.